Alright everybody, welcome on back to Dead Space. This is the final chapter of the game, aptly titled Dead Space. That's literally the name of the chapter, so jumping into things here. Before we can really do much of anything, we have to move the marker into this little warehouse doohickey. So if we run over here, we can get a power node and some other random garbage before we actually kick things off. But yeah, sorry that it actually took me forever to upload all the videos for this. Partially it was just because I was really busy with work and general life stuff, but some of it just had to do with the fact that I kind of had to do this in two parts. Record the video by myself and then record the commentary over it.
Return the marker to its pedestal. The loading track leads directly to the excavation site. It'll work. The hive mind will obey. We'll be whole again. And you and I can be together.
Oh, my cryptic girlfriend. Good for you, Isaac.
We need to hurry.
Alright, so now we can actually save the game. If we want. Which I'm pretty sure I did. Poor Nicole's trying to talk to me and I'm just like, yeah, whatever, babe. I'm doing man stuff right now, okay? Let's get rid of this goddamn marker so that we can catch the game. Am I right, Isaac? Hey, let's get some beers with the boys. So coming into this room, there's an infector. And I think some other thing. Yeah, you get attacked from behind by an enhanced slasher. So, I wasn't exactly prepared for that, as you can see. Look at how much fucking splash damage the grenade launcher upgrade does on the pulse rifle. Dude, when I saw that, I was like, yeah, whatever, we're done with the pulse rifle. I put that shit straight into storage. Also, that infector is just going crazy out there. I actually let that guy infect, like, 2 or 3 different corpses. I didn't remember he was there, damn it. If I had actually planned for that encounter, could have been better.
Recombines us, but there's a dead space in that signal.
Holy shit, she just said dead space.
The eye of the storm. They can't stay in it for long.
I've seen it. But this pedestal, why there?
It amplifies. The marker's pulse will be felt across the planet. The dead will sleep. And the living will see what can't be forgotten.
That sounds just great, doesn't it? What if your girlfriend just started talking like that one day? How fucked up, dude. Looks like we managed to finish the game in roughly 8 hours or so. So that's pretty sweet. We got a really good end time. I gotta say. But yeah, grab that battery because we're going to need that to open the door that actually leads us into the warehouse. And also, we're going to go ahead and sell a bunch of shit, like the Pang Treasure. The Pang Treasure sells for a lot of fucking money, as you can see. And yeah, the Pang Treasure is, I can't remember where it was hidden in Dead Space 1, but my Xbox 360 copy of that game was glitched, and I shit you not, I was able to get the Pang Treasure in chapter fucking 1. On the part where the USG Kellyan blows up, and you have to, like, kill all those necromorphs on the bridge, and then kind of run back inside from the hangar. The game would just dump the Pang statue on the bridge, and I would just pick it up. It was nuts, dude. And then I would start the game with, like, 50,000 credits. It was so goofy. If you don't believe me, I think during my playthrough of the original Dead Space, I think you can see it for yourself if you go find the video on my channel. I think it's literally in chapter 1, and I just got the fucking Pang Treasure because the game was like, hey idiot, here you go. So weird, dude. But Anyway, yeah, going into the very end of the, of the game here. Sorry, my fucking throat got all dry. There's a spitter that shows up, so I just opted to, like, hit him with some stasis, because the room that we're about to go into next has some stasis recharge stations that we get to abuse. So I just stomped this guy's fucking guts out, dude. Like we're playing Full Metal Jacket. Private Joker, why aren't you stomping Private Pyle's guts out? Yeah, I can't remember what I was going to say. Oh yeah, I got rid of the pulse rifle, because we're not using it anymore. I just, going into the end of the game, all I wanted was the contact beam, the plasma cutter, and the force gun. All I needed. The pulse rifle is, it was good, you know, got us through some harrowing situations and all, but I was just kind of done with it, you know? And I wanted the game to spawn ammo for all these other guns. So this room can actually be one of the trickiest parts of the entire game, which, you know, fair enough, it's the final fucking chapter. But what you really want to do in this room is just abuse the shit out of these 4 stasis recharge stations. They're on each corner of the room. There's literally 4 of them. There might even be fucking 5, dude. There's a lot. There are a lot of stasis recharge stations in here. But yeah, abuse the shit out of those. And use the force gun and such, because you're kind of on this enclosed area that's just made up of a bunch of catwalks. So it's easy to get surrounded on 2 sides. So how I sort of try to avoid that is I kind of try to hug one end and just sort of use the stasis refill station as much as I can. And then if you kind of alternate between these 2 sides, you should be good to go. But as soon as you cross over to the right side of the room, currently on our right, that's where things can get a little shitty, because the layout of the catwalks is sort of set up to where it's really easy to get trapped. And a lot of enemies spawn over there too. So if you stay on this side, at least for me, I ended up testing this room a couple of times. Just reloading the same save over and over. And I found that it was easiest to just kind of hang out on this side and take out each subsequent enemy as quickly as you can. Because they don't stop coming and they don't stop coming. Look at this shit. Look at the force gun go. What a beautiful weapon. Fucking enhanced lurker. Almost called it a leaper again. Lord only knows how many times I've done that during this playthrough. Calling a lurker a leaper or vice versa.
Lifting quarantine. Do you miss them, Isaac?
Kelly and team.
And your parents? Your mother was unitologist. She believed.
She believed so much it killed her. Is this what she would have wanted?
She did. Would that make this easier?
Maybe it's a good thing. I'll never know.
So after we just wiped out the fucking Spanish Armada of necromorphs, we just kind of use that terminal to move the marker, and then when that bridge drops down, we cross back over, and then we do the exact same thing over here. And then while we wait for the marker to move, we can explore these 2 rooms. And usually when you come in here, there's like a tendril that you have to shoot on the other side over there, and you have to shoot it in order to actually get in there. But for some reason it like didn't spawn, so I was able to just go in there without having to do that. It was really weird, but whatever, I'll take it. Save ammo, I guess.
Isaac, there's no power in the section. The marker won't move one at a time.
It's okay. Hit test connection. What's it say?
Power failure detected. Tether generator. Gravity control.
One of the ground side gravity tethers. Maybe a busted power line. I'm on it.
Please hurry. We can't fail now.
So yeah, be careful coming into this room because there's a wall guardian. I think there's actually two. Yeah, there's two. So, sadly, because I came running in here like a moron, they were able to spawn a couple of little ground potato enemies. But luckily, we can kill them with explosive barrels and also the force gun. But I somehow got like really lucky, and that one barrel killed them both. I have no idea how that happened, but whatever. That's pretty sweet. Run around and just grab all this shiny loot off the floor and head on over to the store. And I think I just ended up buying contact beam ammo or something, because that's pretty good to have at this point in the game. Yeah, we also do not need all these fucking stasis packs. Thank you, game. I mean, I appreciate it, but at the same time, ammo is a little bit better at this point. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I just splurged on some contact beam ammo. Especially for the final boss. The contact beam is pretty much the main weapon that we end up using for that. So, I don't even remember if there's anything over here, to be honest, except for just a stasis recharge. Oh, I guess there's some force energy. Worth it. And money. Alright, I guess it's sort of... There's sort of some stuff over there. I also totally just missed an item on the left, but who cares? Spoiler alert, I ended up beating the game without it.
Now entering tether control. Cross-contamination field engaged.
Alright, so now we have to wait for this thing to do that thing that spaceships do, where they're like, alright, we're gonna put you in a crowded little chamber and we're gonna spew steam everywhere. We're depressurizing. Alright. Also, I don't know if I mentioned this, but, like, obviously, it's good to stock up on first aid kits going into the end here. So for this room, we just need to locate a bunch of hidden batteries and then plug them into their respective outlets on the wall. So we got 3 in total, and we just got to power on each of these individually. The batteries are just kind of like hidden in the corners of the room, and then you end up yanking the battery out of that one box and replacing it. And with all 3 generators on, we can reactivate the tether. Alright, now you want to be careful on this part, because when you clear a route up to the ceiling, obviously we've got the fans to worry about. During my very first playthrough of the game, I didn't realize that the fans were going to come back to life, so I just sort of like flew haphazardly up to the tendril and shot it, and then I tried to fly through. And needless to say, Isaac did not survive that process. The fan done chopped me clean in half. Done cast a snare and trapped me good, damn it. Alright, I also always get lost on it. Not really like lost, but like disoriented. I always have a hard time figuring out how to get up here. I've also never really tried to explore any of that, because it just sucks. It's kind of a fuckfest or zero gravity maze. So there might be like a power node or something over there for all I know. I have no idea. There's a brood over here and a bunch of other enemies that attack. So, yep, nice. Also, this is an enhanced brute. So, basically for enhanced brutes, the same strategy still applies. Also, you can use that sploder right there, and if you either use a gravity well or stasis, or you just find a way to get him close to one of the brute's arms, you can actually blow the sploder up, and he'll dismember the brute when he explodes. It's a really good way to kill the brute. But I think I just ended up contact beam to finish him off, but yeah, I got one of his arms by just killing a Sploder right next to him. So yeah, I think that brute encounter can actually be pretty easy if you're aware of that little trick, I suppose. But yeah, enhanced brutes suck on hard. They're like they're much more formidable. I think the Dead Space remake did a way better job with the brutes. In the original Dead Space, the brutes were like, they were kind of just pussies, you know? Like, they would do this weird thing where they would like bury their hands in their face, and they would like go into like a fetal position, and you could just get behind them and shoot them. I don't know. I think the brute fights are much better in the remake, because the brutes are actually like, they don't like start crying and pouting when you start shooting them. Oh man. It was nice in the remake too to not have to move the marker by hand with kinesis. You didn't have to like do it very often, but it's just nice to not have to do it whatsoever. This next part can actually be really stressful. Not this. I don't know what I think I was just trying to kill this thing with melee to not waste ammo, but yeah, this part can be stressful. As soon as this enhanced necromorph pops out, we'll just kind of deal with him like we would any other enemy. Not really a huge deal or anything. But in order to continue moving the marker, we need to clear out some tendril bullshit. So to that end, we've got to go upstairs. And upstairs, there's going to be a familiar friend waiting for us. Only this time, there isn't really a great way to deal with it. And it leads to sort of a stressful situation. Kinda scary. Another enhanced necromorph pops down from right there, and then from the left, another one. They're brothers. But yeah, just take him out. I had like so much plasma cutter ammo at this point in the game, and because I got rid of the pulse rifle and I only had 3 guns in my inventory, the game was just spawning more and more. I probably mentioned this a couple times by now, but if you want to manipulate the game into spawning more ammo for a weapon you want, all you have to do is make sure that that weapon is the only one in your inventory. And then the game will only give you ammo for that, except for in places where there's like a scripted ammo drop. Like sometimes you'll go into a room and you'll open a container and there will always be a certain item. But here's the marker enhanced divider. I almost just called him a Slender Man. But yeah, basically what we do now is we use this little elevator to haul ass back downstairs. That was a real risky move, me going to those lockers, but it worked out. So ideally, you want to do this next part fast enough, because the divider is actually going to work his way back around and come downstairs. Obviously, he can't take the elevator, but he can take the stairs. So what made this even more stressful is that I didn't have any stasis, so I couldn't freeze him if I wanted to. So I was just hanging out here, like, come on, marker, move, move, you fucking thing, move, move. I was getting so fucking stressed, dude. And the door wouldn't fucking open either. And then I'm pretty sure I had to interact with that terminal again. And I was just waiting. And then there he is! Boom! Thank God for the force gun, though. That gravity well ended up saving my goddamn life. I think I needed to hit him with another one. Pew! Yeah, I don't fuck with dividers. But hey. Made it out of that situation alive. That was some stressful shit, dude. If that was stressful to watch, just imagine how sweaty my hands were when that marker was just stuck right there. Waiting for that stupid door to open.
Get the marker to the pedestal. Hurry.
Alright, speaking of difficult, this is probably one of the hardest parts of the game. At least for me it was. Also, we've got more of those tentacles to deal with. I think there's a total of 4 on this part, but I can't quite remember. They sort of come at you in waves, too. So once you deal with that first one, you don't have to worry about the second one until we start actually completing this objective. But this part sucks because, as you can see, we've got more sticky floor to deal with. So Isaac is going to move super slow in certain places. And we're going to be attacked by a shitload of enemies. And that's not, I think, what I meant to do. I think I was trying to grab the fan blade. I ended up just hurling a box. So we've got to take out a bunch of those tendrils. And every time we do that, pretty much another wave of necromorphs are going to show up. So the trick to this part is to just be prepared all the time for just a giant horde of enemies to show up. I think there's even more on my left. Or maybe they're all just, yeah, they're all just straight ahead for the time being. Good opportunity to use the gravity well to group them together like that and just kind of blast them. I should have switched to the force gun. One final enhanced lurker. Almost called him a leaper again, dude. You'd think I'd be, like, practiced with the enemy name terminology by now, but nope. Still a card-carrying idiot. But as we come over here, there's another tendril we can take out. Shoot that some bitch. And then we get attacked by another giant tentacle, which I totally forgot about, so he just walloped my ass. Yeah, more enemies and the giant tentacle show up. Plus you're stuck on, like, slow-moving floor bullshit, which is just great. That armored necromorph probably scared the shit out of me while I was playing this. I'm willing to bet. Make a nice little group, wait for the exploder to show up. I don't think I meant to do that, but, you know, it's pretty good. Pretty good. I killed that armored necromorph just in the nick of time. Holy shit. Yeah, there's a lot of fucking enemies show up each time you complete part of the objective here. Every time you shoot out a tendril, just expect, like, pretty much every single enemy type to show up except for tweakers. We don't get any tweakers, we don't get any leapers. We do get giant tentacles. That thing kind of looks like a giant, like, super foreskinned penis. Go ahead and read that audio log if you'd like. If not, we're just going to destroy this fucking tentacle. Again, it's 2 shots from the alt fire on the contact beam. And then you're good to go. I think another one shows up. Yes, I was right. I want to say a 4th one can potentially show up, but I think the 4th one could be avoidable. Also, that one kind of sucked. Didn't do that much damage, though. A little bit of a safety heal rolling. Now we can finally move the marker through this Shrek's swamp salad of necromorph nonsense. And as soon as we do that, you already know more shit's gonna spawn. For an impossible run, this part's got to be extremely stressful. I've actually yet to start my impossible playthrough. I do plan on beating this game on impossible, though, just to get the trophies. I know that sounds fucking pathetic, but that's just the way it's got to be, man, you know? Because I don't have any stasis anymore at this point, I'm kind of just relying more on the force gun to keep enemies away from me. And I gotta say, it worked out pretty good. The force gun is just it's the shit. The force gun is just your best friend going with you behind enemy lines, stealthily moving forward with a knife in his teeth. But we did it. We returned the marker. Well, this is just great.
Thank you, Isaac. I always believed in you.
Nicole.
We're whole again. We are whole.
Emergency. Geo-orbital gravity tethers offline. Tectonic node released. Impact imminent. All personnel, evacuate immediately.
A payload. I'll restart the tether. Buy us time.
Alright, so we've got a little bit of a cutscene section to get through coming up, so I'm probably going to be radio silent for a little bit. So yeah, I'm just going to mute the mic and shut the hell up for a little bit. Enjoy the cutscenes.
Forget it, Isaac. There's no fixing this.
Let her go, Daniel.
Let who go? Can't you see how delusional you are?
We've got to go. Payload from the planet crack is about to fall.
I gave you a chance to come around, Isaac. But if you still won't see it, I'll help you. One last time. Wriggling override. This time, watch to the end.
Isaac, it's me. I wish I could talk to you. I'm sorry. I'm sorry about everything. I just wish I could talk to someone. It's all falling apart here. I can't believe what's happening. Strange. Such a little thing. Just had a talk. That's all this research was in the end. Not much, is it? Just had to make it listen when he begged for convergence. But I had a different prayer. It spoke. And then it listened. Make this stop, I said. Maybe it understood, but... I can't return what was taken. Why can't I see you again, Isaac? I loved you. I always loved you.
Nicole's been dead this whole time. You just couldn't handle it, could you? Because if she's gone, at least now it'll be in safe hands. The marker won't turn anyone else into its puppet. Give me the loader remote.
No. It's over. We're whole again.
For Christ's sake, I'm not going to ask again, Cross.
No! Enough people have died! Then just do it. I've got nothing left to lose. Cross!
It's better this way, Isaac. You'll never recover from what the marker's done to you. And when the tectonic load drops, all this will be buried. Just like Earth God wanted. Warning. Seismic activity increased.
Alright, so now we've got to pursue Kendra because she's gonna try to steal the marker again. That fucking bitch, dude. She just never quits. Call her sweaty, try-hard Kendra. Call of Duty player Kendra over here. Jesus Christ. Alright. Yeah, we gotta make our way through this disgusting-looking hallway. And of course, we gotta grab items as we go, because Isaac is still a businessman at heart. And this next room actually is pretty much just a giant, like, supply room for, like, the final boss. Just a giant room for you to pick up a bunch of shit. Before we go fight the hive mind. I also missed those lockers on the right, but it didn't really matter much at this point. It's literally the very fucking tippy-toe end of the game. So, I guess it's whatever. Yeah, I think I just bought some first aid kits, or like one, just to go into the final boss with as much shit as possible. The most important thing is going to be contact beam ammo, so yeah, I definitely bought more of that. And, yeah, that's pretty much it. And some last minute weapon upgrades, of course. Of course. I think I just upgraded the contact beam. This is pretty much going to be the weapon of choice. That secondary fire upgrade is pretty much the most important of the three. Also, I forgot to go in here at the very beginning of the chapter, but it's whatever. There's a power node in here and some other random shit to pick up. But yeah, I just kind of forgot. There's also, yeah, an audio log.
Sergeant Bram Newman, PSEC evacuation report. The shuttle's gone. Took off and then crashed right back down into the bay. Took a whole crowd with it. Must be 100 people dead. We've lost the rest of the shuttles. God help. There's no way out. Anyone hearing this, do not land. I repeat, do not land on Aegis VII. Fuck the Ishimura. They left us to die.
Too late, already landed here. But it's okay. We're fucking badass as fuck at this point. We're well trained in the art of killing fucked up mutated aliens and shit. Alright. Just taking care of some last minute shit. Getting me some stasis before we go in. Stasis is not gonna be like overly important, but it's good to have, I guess.
Last warning, Isaac. I mean it. Isaac.
So, starting this boss fight off with a fucking 700 billion IQ play. Did you guys like that? That was probably the best strategy I've ever done all game, to be honest. But, alright, so, for the Hive Mind boss, pretty much for this beginning phase, he's going to target you with his tentacles. And then after each attack that he does, he's going to leave his face, whatever the fuck, is that his face? His big giant pussy face thing. He kind of leaves that exposed so that you can use the alt fire on the contact beam to get a nice close shot. And then you can target those sacks that he's got on his big giant pussy face thing. And then when he starts doing that attack is actually super easy to avoid. You basically just want to go in like a circle around the little arena that you're in. Standing on the left side here is really, yeah, the left side. It's really not ever a good thing in this boss because for this phase, it actually makes it more difficult to hit his glowing sacks because sometimes your shots will get stuck on his tentacle hitboxes. So it's a little bit easier to hit his chin sack thingies if you're standing on the right. Again, just kind of go in a little bit of a circle when he does that, and then try not to stand too close to him when he does his next tentacle thing. In general, his tentacle attacks are pretty easy to dodge. You basically just want to bait them. So you stand in one spot for, you know, a couple seconds, and then you bait him to attack that spot, and then you move to the other side. And then you basically just do that over and over until he's finished with his little attack combo. Dodge those. Wait for him to do his little smash. Shoot that. Now we're going into phase 2. In phase 2, he's going to start attacking us with acid. Before phase 2 starts, we have got to fight another small army of necromorphs. So, during the necromorph part, this part's actually not very hard because literally all of them come at you from the front. You don't have to worry about them coming from behind or the sides or anything like that. They all come from the very front. And you also don't have to worry about the hive mind attacking you. So, on this part, you can really just kind of take your time and kill enemies individually as they show up. And then if you get a chance, you can group them together and blow them up with sploder fucking sacks. Sploder sacks. I almost tried to call it like a sploder grenade. I guess why not? So yeah, just move side to side like this and then bait his tentacle attacks. And then eventually, in between various attacks, whichever one he decides to do, he'll either do the tentacle attack or the acid attack. Sometimes he'll do both actually. He actually has two different kinds of acid attacks, but we'll get into that in a minute. But you see how the acid is still bubbling in the middle there? He uses that attack to limit your use of the arena, because obviously if you walk over that, you take a ton of damage. So when that's active, you kind of have to stay on either the left or the right, and you can't cross sides. So when he does the tentacle attack, you have to be a little bit more delicate with your movements going side to side, but it's basically just the exact same thing. Also, it's better to be on, again, I've already said this, but it's just as important for phase 2. It's better to be on the left side of the map, or I mean the right side, as opposed to the left side. The left side sucks. Don't do what I'm doing and get stuck on the left side, because you actually have less space to work with. But again, sometimes your shots will get fucked on hitboxes. So this other acid attack he does, he kind of tries to like strafe you on both sides. That attack is ridiculously easy to dodge. And then when you see him going down the middle, that's how you know that he's doing the stupid cut the arena in half attack. But yeah, if the acid is bubbling like that, don't walk on it. If it's not bubbling and it's just kind of a faint green stain on the ground, you can walk on it. And that means he's doing his other attack. Overall, I think this boss fight is actually extremely easy. Don't get me wrong, it's a very good boss. I actually really like the boss. It's a great final boss. But you really shouldn't be intimidated in terms of difficulty. Now I'm using the plasma cutter to finish him off, because he has sort of a very, very, very brief third phase, and I just wanted to make sure to save some contact beam ammo for that. But yeah, that's what happens if you walk on the acid. You just take a ton of damage, as expected. Alright, so when you take out the final sack, the last chest sack thing, he'll pick you up, and I like to use the primary fire on the contact beam on this, because as soon as he actually calms down and you get a chance to aim, this part can actually be very tricky. It's actually kind of hard to aim on that part because of how shaky everything is, but yeah, just use the contact beam or maybe the pulse rifle. And the hive mind is dead. Good day, sir. One last little peek into the fucking Sarlacc pit from whence he came, and we're done. I mean, that's pretty much the end of the game. All we gotta do is get on the ship and leave.
Isaac, it's me. Oh, I wish I could talk to you. I'm sorry. I wish I could just talk to you.
Alright, well, that's going to be it for Dead Space. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the game. I love this game, dude. I loved the original ever since it came out, and I just didn't think that it needed a remake, because I had actually played through the original Dead Space again recently, and I was just like, dude, this game still holds up incredibly well. Just the regular-ass Xbox 360 version is still amazing. But, like, dude, this remake ended up really just blowing me away with how good it was and just how much genuine effort they put into things. It was such a fantastic remake. And if you haven't played this game for yourself yet, I would highly, highly, highly recommend it. It's really, really, really good. When it comes to, like, you know, do I like this version better than the original? I would say overall the answer is no, but it's not necessarily like I don't even really know how to explain it, but I think that this game definitely does the gameplay side of things much better, and I think in a lot of ways it does the story better too, because, like, you know, you've got the inclusion of side quests that allow you to sort of delve deeper into the lore and just the whole situation of the marker and the crew of the Ishimura and the necromorph outbreak. It lets you kind of dive a little bit deeper than the original game did. And obviously the original game still had audio logs, it still had text logs and all that shit. So it's not like the first game was, like, in any way dry in the story department, like, at all. But I think in terms of, like, which game does the overall story and the narrative best, I think they each have strengths and weaknesses. Good God, I'm, like, really having a hard time here, aren't I? But I think the remake, like I said, it does a better job of, I guess, fleshing things out, I guess. I also think that they did the character of Isaac way better in the remake, because if you ever played Dead Space 2 or God forbid Dead Space 3, I know that Dead Space 3 is a pile of shit. Personally, I haven't really ever played Dead Space 3, so I couldn't really tell you anything about it. But I'm a huge, huge Dead Space 2 fan. Dead Space 2 is one of my favorite horror games ever. I love Dead Space 2. So if you've ever played Dead Space 2, obviously Isaac talks in that game, so he's got the same voice actor and everything, so the fact that Isaac talks in the Dead Space 1 remake, I think it just works, you know, like, it just works better. And it makes Dead Space 2, I think, that much more special, because, like, in Dead Space Original, you know, the first Dead Space, Isaac was a silent protagonist, and, you know, like, it worked, like, there was nothing wrong with it, but at the same time, he wasn't really much of a character, you know, like, he was just kind of a submissive, like, I'm the silent protagonist, so it's just implied that I'm gonna do whatever the fuck everybody wants, and I'm just gonna shut the fuck up the whole time. Whereas in this game, he's, like, he not only talks, but he's actually, like, a driving force in the story. And they give him a much bigger role in things. And in doing that, they kind of actually ended up rearranging the roles of some other characters, like Hammond. Which brings me to my next point. I think Dead Space, the original Dead Space, sort of did some of the characters better than the remake. I think that the original version of Kendra and the original version of Hammond, and my god, especially the original version of Dr. Kyne, I think those three characters just kind of got done dirty in the remake. Not necessarily that they were bad, but I think really just boils down to personal preference, and I preferred the versions that we got in, also that was the end. I didn't feel like sitting through all the credits. I got up and did something else. So I'm just gonna rewind it to the fucking beginning of the credits. But yeah, I think that in the original version of the game, sorry, I'm like really going off the rails here, that the video ending kind of distracted me from my rant. But the original version of Hammond, I think, was a lot better. Obviously, he was played by Peter Mensah in that game. And trying to outdo Peter Mensah's performance is, like, it's not possible, dude. Peter Mensah is just certifiably one of the coolest humans to walk the earth. Peter Mensah is fucking great. He was excellent as Hammond in the first Dead Space. When it comes to Kendra, I sort of, like, I don't have a problem with Kendra in the remake, but I do sort of feel like in the original, it was a little bit more compelling when she betrays you, because it feels a little bit more cold and bitchy. like, there was definitely something going on in the remake where they wanted to make Kendra more likable, I think. And I think maybe that's because they wanted her motives to seem a little bit more appealing. Because at the end of the day, Kendra's not really like a downright awful piece of shit person. She does betray you, and she is a fucking bitch, but, you know, at the end of the day, she's not, like, she's not fucking evil con carne or anything. She's just trying to do a job and make some money. But one thing I also didn't really like, I think I already talked about this as well, but I wasn't really a huge fan of the whole Chen and Hammond dynamic in this game, because, again, they try to make a big deal out of, like, oh, Hammond really cares about this Corporal Chen guy, and then Chen dies, and it, like, really fucks with Hammond, and I just couldn't really get into that, you know. I couldn't sympathize with that whole thing, because we never got to know Chen, and we never got to explore their relationship. So the whole Hammond being all upsetty over the Chen spaghetti, it just, I didn't care about it, you know. And then it all culminates with Hammond getting killed by Necromorph Chen, and I still didn't care, because in the first game, when Hammond dies, it was a much more, like, frantic situation where Hammond was, like, trying to save Isaac, and he's like, Isaac, run, brother, because he gets killed by, like, a brute, and then he's just, I don't know, it was a much more, like, stressful scenario, but I digress. I think the story in this game definitely benefits from Isaac having a voice. Also, I think Gunnar Wright, the guy who does the voice acting for Isaac, he's the guy who has always done the voice acting for Isaac. Ever since Dead Space 1, I'm pretty sure he voiced the fucking grunting noises that he'd make. But he really just knocks it out. He is a seriously talented voice actor. I think he just does a great job as Isaac. But anyway, I'm trying to think of anything else I have to say. The gameplay in the remake is just really chock full of quality of life improvements that I love. The controls are smooth. The way that they kind of changed the upgrade system and the way power node, I mean, they didn't really change the way that the power nodes work, but, you know, they got rid of, like, the power node doors, and they kind of streamlined certain things. And the new weapon upgrade system has been, you know, totally overhauled and all that. It was good. Very good. If you're doing a first time playthrough, if you haven't played this game and you're planning on picking it up, in terms of, like, difficulty, I think hard is the best way to play this game. I think it really fleshes out the survival horror nature of things. But if you really just kind of want to relax and have a bit more of a, I guess, less stressful, more story-driven experience, I would say just go ahead and play the game on medium. I would avoid the easier difficulties, because at that point, like, I really just don't think Dead Space is a very difficult game by nature. So when you really start playing on the easier difficulties, the game kind of showers you with gifts and love and resources, and it's not as scary and stressful after a while. You don't feel the survival horror quite as much when the game is just always giving you health and ammo. But I would say play the game on medium if you just want a very kind of casual horror game experience with some very, very good third-person shooting mechanics. The weapons and just kind of the, I guess, gunplay in this game is extraordinarily fun and satisfying. That's one of the main, I think, benefits of Dead Space. Is it's a spooky, scary horror game, but it's also, like, fun to play at the same time. It has, like, actual fun, satisfying mechanics. So that's always good. But yeah, I would say hard. Hard is the recommended difficulty. I would not recommend playing on Impossible for your first playthrough unless you are just really hardcore like that, because on Impossible, obviously you've got to worry about permadeath, or you've got to just save constantly. But Impossible is going to be my next port of call. But anyway, yeah, I'm taking a bit of a break from this game at this point, because I'm going back and doing some work for the next game that we'll be working on. There's actually 2 games that I would like to to make series is for. So, yeah, it's going to be Elden Ring. Elden Ring is going to be the next one. So I've already got a fucking shitload of videos recorded for Elden. I have got Elden Ring on deck right now. Like, I've literally got, like, the first 10 videos for the Elden Ring series recorded. So that'll be coming up soon. And then aside from that, I want to do the Resident Evil 4 remake, because I have been pretty excited for that for a while. So, yep, both of those will be coming soon. Hopefully you guys enjoyed Dead Space, and I will see you for whatever the hell we have in store next time.